What's up, you
Good
guys?
Good morning.
How
Here we
are you?
Yes, I hope you're doing well today.
Happy Thursday. I was
Yes.
going to say Friday. Whoa, okay. What's
That's
up?
that's your classic line, Happy Thursday. So how can you forget that?
I don't know. That was weird.
Well, not Happy Thursday, right? It's anyway.
So
here we are, Coffee and Convo. Today we want to talk about our ingredients for a great marriage.
Yes, our ingredient. That's good. I like that. I like that.
I came up with that line. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh. High five.
No, but first of all,
yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, baby. Okay.
And
Hair.
cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
You are awesome.
Tell us what coffee you're drinking or tea. And say hi and tell us where you're watching from. All the things. Join us in the conversation. If you're married, share with us what you think your ingredient to your marriage, a good marriage, is. So are we going to start with the spicy, the sweet, the what?
So what would you say is all right, first of all, the center of our marriage and relationship is Father God. That
the foundation, the center,
is the foundation.
Yeah.
That's the focus of both our lives, lives individually and together.
Yeah.
So that is a given.
Yeah.
Outside of Father, what would you say is the main? First of all, I think our marriage is great. Where do you think?
Yeah, let's establish
how good is it?
Oh yes, 100%, baby. We've been married for 16 years this year. Yes, or we have been married for 16. It's gonna be 17 this year.
It might be that.
Anyway, we're getting to the point where we have to think about it.
So,
and it has been great, like amazing.
what would you say is the main ingredient or the main thing that makes our marriage great?
Yeah. So the first thing that I thought about, the main thing was communication.
Okay.
Now it needs to be good communication, but I think that was one, as in being very open in your communication. Open communication. Let's give it that thing.
Okay.
That's what I was first thinking of, because from the get-go, we have been pretty good at that, I would say. Now, we didn't always communicate in the way that the other could receive it.
Right.
And we learned through, personality and all those things. We learned how you think, how I learned how you think and how you process, and I understood more about myself, which changes your communication. But I think our communication was always open from the beginning.
Okay.
Talk about everything.
Yeah, that's true.
With each other. Transparency, maybe that's even a better...
Okay.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking of first. What would you say?
I think,
of course, there's like I can think of like.
Right. I think for me, it was a. I think it's a belief in each other, and a champion and supporting each other, which to me leads to wanting to communicate.
Right.
Openly, wanting to, first. We were pretty open in communication, but not very, it wasn't great communication. We just wanted to say what we wanted to say in the way we wanted to say.
Good.
But because of belief in things and belief in each other, we wanted to change that. We worked on that communication in order to value the other person. I mean, for me, no matter what we have gone through in all the years, no matter what the season of life, no matter what the journey of business or parenting or relationship, our family, whatever it is, I never have to question that you're for me,
Right.
and
Right.
you're on my side.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about spicy, you want to talk about intimacy, in relationship, all that came out of
Yeah.
like a trust and belief that you are for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm for you, and
Yeah.
therefore it's a lot easier to open your heart, I would
Right.
say.
Right, and that's really good. Yours is so much better than mine.
I win.
But especially in the moments which you will have in your relationship even, but in life, where you're not even always for yourself, or you can't, those times where it's harder to pick yourself up or whatever. In those moments where, my belief in you is greater than the belief about yourself, you and yourself, and therefore you can pull from each other, and it really becomes, and it sounds like really like you would have no life, but it really isn't. If you understand where that perfectness, if that's even a word, comes from, of really living for the other, not for myself, but for him.
Okay.
Believing in you, championing you, but in reverse, it's like it is that dance, where it's a giving that comes right back again,
Sure.
in that. So that's
Okay.
a good one.
I'm of course very analytical, so I think we're still getting there. We're not perfect.
Well,
We have a lot to do, but that's the foundation, or that's what we've really worked on. That's been our approach, and I think that's the strength.
Like
But then-
I'm his biggest fan, and he's my biggest fan.
Right. And then if you look at even the mountain of family, the family mountain as in cultural influence, you're stewarding people in that, right? Whether you're parenting, whether it's siblings, whether it's spouses, and from that you're championing people, you're supporting people, you're removing fear, which acceptance and belief removes fear, and love removes fear. And so if you look at kind of that whole how that impacts and what is Father's original intent for that in itself, it's like having a belief in each other. It's championing each other. It's supporting one another and going forward, knowing that, hey, if I can help you to be your best, and to feel safe and to trust your process and journey, and you can help me to be my best and whatever, and then we can give each other our best, and together we show
and it
our
also
best.
makes it then you wanting to believe in yourself, wanting to be your best and your own biggest fan, because that's also super important,
Right.
when you have someone next to you, in that oneness of relationship that roots for you, that out of that safe place. It is amazing. There is like, for real, nothing. It is like that best friend, that confidant, that all of that,
So we say, okay, we've had belief in each other. That's come. We cultivate that through. Last week we talked about our different strengths, our different personalities. So there's that. There's the communication, and again, that came through highlighting personalities, realizing how we communicate, what we value, how we see, how we can fit together, and we continue to look and try to find how do we pull on the strengths of each other, right? Not just recognize them. Excuse me. A little congested. How do we pull on those strengths from each other and allow that to come out? so those are keys, and you can say, how do you have date nights? How do you work on your communication? Those are all practical steps.
Well,
and
so my other point, also my other ingredient would also be intentionality is huge, because I mean you can have the greatest belief that's where it starts for sure, but the reason we are happily married and we can both say that we have a great marriage for already 16 years is because we work at it and because we are very intentional about our relationship with each other, and the things that you need to do and work on with your communication and stuff. It all takes it doesn't just happen. It happens in the beginning. Oh my word, yes, the dating period and the lovey-dovey, and then first, I mean that it flows, but it does change, and that is a normal thing, and so it takes intentionality to work on those things,
right,
to keep all of that.
So, to us, marriage is such a great gift that Father has given. It's a strength, that creating that place of love, destroying the fear, championing each other. It's the best place to develop individuals among yourselves, and then your kids who will go out into the world and impact and influence the world, right? And so many people, marriage is a frustration, it's a struggle, it's a grind, it's a headache, and part of our desire is, hey, it can be what it was intended for. It can be so great. It can be that place where you can continue to journey and become greater, grow and be more individually, together, and then of course producing kids who show up in powerful ways and own their identity. And the family unit is the very foundation of where identity is birthed from, where it comes from. Not only like physical kids, but even just speaking the life and championing who they are and things. So another thing, of course, I am a more private person, so let's not get too crazy, but we talked about spicy. Having a good love life is a strength. Intimacy. And you probably, or you may have heard this before, but you can break down intimacy into me, see.
Yeah.
And so it's coming to that place again where, what does the Bible say? Perfect love casts out fear. Right? Fear. And if we say the family unit on the family mountain, fear is destroyed because love is instituted. Yeah. Where again, that comes from understanding His perfect love for us, and that we are whole and acceptable and championed by Father God, and therefore we can turn and give that to each other, even in the middle of hey, we're not always perfect. We make mistakes. We communicate wrong. We're growing. We're figuring things out. Whatever it is, as we journey through life, right? Because life is not stagnant. Yeah. But that all comes from that ability to trust and feel safe, to open myself, let you see into me, knowing that, we have our disagreements, right? Oh. We challenge each other.
A lot.
we pick at things sometimes. We have our
let's not paint the wrong picture here. I mean, we are very
we have our pet peeves that we're like, we like to harp on a little bit and things, but we're still able to, in the middle of that, and not being perfect in our communication all the time and stuff, we're able to open ourselves and say, see into me, be close, which allows for your love life to be a lot deeper and richer, because intimacy as a whole, you have that trust that if I expose this part of my heart or I let you see into me, and you see the good, the bad, the ugly, the imperfections, the greatness, all that stuff where I feel like I come short. You're not going to like rip it out. You're not going to say, this is my opportunity to, you know, stab a knife into it to expose you.
Yeah. No. Well, you're never in it for yourself, ever. Again, coming back to that, and it sounds all super like almost not of this world, you know, but I mean, I believe that's how God created it, you know, and it's really a gift. It's an amazing mystery, really, but that I am, even in our intimacy, in my love, whenever there are moments where I am trying to how do I say that? Like defend myself,
right,
or create a protecting myself or something like that. I know there's something with the connection that it may not be as close or whatever, because initially I need to be for him, you know, and that does not mean canceling myself. That does not mean that. But like even in our intimacy, you know, how can I create this space of being one and just having him come alive, and same vice versa. If I'm like, you know, have those moments where I feel like I have to I'm trying to find the words. I can hear it in my head, but like, you know, defend yourself or trying to
yeah.
Do you have the words? I don't know.
Well, no, but
you know what I'm saying?
Ebbs and flows. Like sometimes we get into places where we are trying to defend ourselves, and you don't feel as close, you don't feel as connected, you feel like there's more of a struggle, and you have to kind of work back and say, you know, hey, how can I create, if there's defensiveness here, or that comes because there's a feeling that I need to try to survive, or I'm not being protected and loved and championed by the other person. And so that takes us back to, hey, how do I need to focus? How do I, if I feel that from you, how do I begin to champion you so you don't have to feel defensive? The thing is, we can go down this journey where we become defensive and we keep digging deeper into the defensiveness and build up walls, and we're continuing to fight for ourselves. Or we have to intentionally shift and say, hey, how do I fight for you? You know, stand up for you first and foremost, and allow that safety to come into play. And so even when you want to talk about your sex life, it comes into like, if people are in it for what they can get for themselves, or it's about me, like I find we have a much better relationship, and we take this approach. I definitely say we do very good in that, in valuing the other person. What does the other person need? What is the other person looking for? And approaching it that way, rather than, you know, and it plays out through everything, through communication, through what is my love language, through, you know, sex, through parenting, through fun and hobbies. Like, what do you need? What is going to
and that takes again good communication and being transparent about that, and you know, being real about that, and that certain things take work, and you gotta work on it and be open together in that, and you know, but especially when it comes to intimacy, I mean, you communicate about everything. But you're not gonna communicate about that part of your life. I mean, you gotta. How else are you gonna know?
So
what?
No, let's
you know?
yeah, right.
Well, what?
So you're talking about your sex life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we were using intimacy as general being close in relationship.
Well, okay,
not just so.
No, but like
clarify
even your sex life, that you need to be communicating in that, and you need, and maybe probably like the last generation, that was just not a thing that was taught or even talked about, you know. And so that is something that you need to maybe work on together, to know that even that is a gift that God has given within this relationship, within this covenant, and that can be good, and it can be fun, and it can be, you know, I mean, but it takes communication. You can't just think that I know that he knows what I'm thinking, or vice versa, you know. Doesn't work like that. Come on. You can be the closest you can be. Sometimes you can finish each other's sentences, for sure, but you're still not gonna know, and he's still not gonna know if you don't communicate about it, which is huge, I think.
So, you know, our encouragement to you is marriage can be awesome. It's a great gift, and it's a great strength to support and propel each other, and then together as a unit, you make up an incredible team. So that's it. First of all, you know, really focus on how can I begin to champion and love my spouse in a way that removes all fear and that increases our intimacy. You know, how do I support them? How do I, even in practical terms, like for me, I need to go play sports at least, you know, once a week. That's been my focus for years, because it makes me a better person. It makes me more complete. It helps me manage life. You know, if I can go play some sports, and we support each other in what it is that we need space for to figure out.
But that used to be a thing not growing up, in our marriage, in the beginning of our marriage. I mean, didn't you have these guys that really had it in his sports teams and stuff, that always had these like upset wives and or you know, that really had to like try hard to get out of the house, and I mean there are different factors of like kids and I'm not but it is something I know is going to make him better. It is going to add to him. So for those 2-3 hours, I'm like, oh, please go. Like, please go and do and be and have fun. Because I know it's a stress reliever. He will come back as a better husband, better friend, better dad, all of those things. But like a lot of times he had other people, guys in relationships that the wives just couldn't understand that, you know, and they got like offended sometimes.
Sure, and then you have the flip side, of course, where one or the other is focusing so much time on their hobbies that they're neglecting.
There's always
there's the balance, right?
For sure.
So anyway, begin to champion each other more. Find ways to support each other. Help the other person feel loved and whatever. Second, you know, find out personality styles. Find out different strengths. How do you come together? Communicate in their style and vice versa. Find out how you can begin to pull on those strengths. You know, not just say, well, it's great, you're this, and just exist. But we all want meaningful engagement, and we all feel like we're bringing something to the table. And if we're not utilizing that, whether in a job or in our relationship, that becomes frustrating. So if you're a super relational person and your spouse is always like, connection, relationship, you push that away, that person begins to slip into survival. And they're frustrated because they can't engage their strengths and who they are. So find out personality styles. Communicate openly. You know, it may be rough in the beginning as you learn communication if you haven't had super good communication, but continue to be open.
Be open.
Build that trust.
It still helps.
Build that communication and increase your intimacy. You know, allow that space of truth to where you can open your heart, your life, your feelings, your process to each other. And know that, hey, if I show every single part of me, you know, and there's that is not going to be frowned upon, it's not going to be rejected, right? Because a big feeling everyone carries is I'm not good enough, I'm going to be rejected. A lot of things are down on those foundations. And then that carries over into your sex life then, because that is your most intimate place. And if you're going to be able to open yourself there, you need to be able to be trust in the process that I'm not going to be damaged, hurt, or found not good enough as well. And so, and then have a great sex life and have all these pieces in play.
Yeah. And then the last thing I would say, have fun together. Don't stop having fun when life starts getting a lot of responsibilities and a lot of different stresses and you know, that just comes with being an adult and then starting a family and all that. But have fun together. Keep cultivating that what you found in each other in the beginning that brought life to your relationship, and whether it's exploring or whatever, you know, date nights, and then do something different sometimes, you know. You can get so in a rut with your relationships, and that doesn't mean you have to always go out somewhere. You can create that space at home once your kids are in bed or whatever, you know.
Do something. It doesn't always have to be something new, because she is someone who wants change. So you're going to encourage everyone to have change.
I'm just saying, like, have fun with it. You're not everybody's motivated by the same things. So I get that. But find the fun and cultivate that. Keep that alive, you know. I mean, I'm all about fun, always. No, but
whatever it is, whether it's a movie at home or it's going out or trying something new or going for a hike or whatever it is, of course, when there's responsibility in kids, and, you know, find ways to still be together and to communicate and whatever. So, anyway, you're awesome, baby.
Good, baby. You too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Anyway, guys, you're awesome. What are your tips?
Let us know if any of that you recognize, if that has worked for you, if you are like, oh, but this worked really for me. I want to know, because I'm still going to be married to this man for a very long time. And hey, we can always learn. We always keep growing.
And it just keeps getting better, because we keep learning more about each other and the better way to love each other. And that's
life
what
is
makes
better
it better
together. Yeah. That's my motto.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
Cheers.